Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 12th and final round.
Right hand, Golovkin steps in and down he goes again. Unbelievable! Mayweather makes him pay. What a rookie mistake. A sensational left hook by De La Hoya.
It's facts. I'm the best. You know what I mean? Sometimes I don't want to believe it myself, but it's the truth. I'm the best. I'm going to show you how great I am.
From Southern California, this is the Last Round Podcast.
Episode 8, Mike. And it's very sad for me today because my Los Angeles Dodgers lost the World Series. Damn. So if I'm not as upbeat as I have been in the past today, that's the reason why, and I wanted to throw it out there before we get into the boxing business. And if this was a baseball show, it would just be me ranting. So, and to our listeners across the pond in the UK, you know, over here we have a big baseball following, and it was the World Series, and the two best teams in the world, Los Angeles and Boston, and Los Angeles lost. So I'm pretty depressed today. I'll probably be depressed for the rest of the year. But anyways, back to the topic at hand that this show's about. Boxing. We had, damn it, man. We literally, like, this last quarter of the year of 2018 is literally just been stacked with a bunch of fights.
I think it's going to be every weekend now due to those big contracts, the Zone.
Yeah.
ESPN
all these television networks coming in, and it's just like, man, like sometimes I'm just like, oh, I wonder if like this weekend we're gonna have maybe one or two things to talk about, and I was like, yeah, we're gonna have topics to talk about on there. No, man, sometimes I'm just like, damn, there's sometimes things we can't even touch on because there's so much.
I think it's going to be 2, 3, 4 hour show.
I know.
In months to come, it's going to be.
It's going to have to be.
I'm sure Joel's going to be.
I'm sure our audio engineer extraordinaire, Joel,
is going to be a rich man.
He's going to be a rich man eventually. He's going to have to be here 8-hour days with us. But, you know, jumping right into it, we'll jump into heavyweight action. Actually, Kubrat Pulev actually defeated by unanimous decision your boy Fury. No, not Tyson Fury. His brother, Hughie Fury, to become the number one contender for the IBF.
His cousin.
His cousin, sorry. I apologize for that. They both have the last name Fury. They're related. It doesn't matter. So Pulev becomes the number one contender for the IBF heavyweight belt. Who has that belt? Anthony Joshua. What'd you think about it?
I thought it was a similar performance to Hughie's performance against Joseph Parker. He kind of went in there and, like we just kind of touched on, he seemed a little bit timid, I thought. If he was going to go in there, he had to go into Pulev's backyard.
Right. And Pulev's like almost 40.
Yeah, he's
37.
37. He looked in good shape, though. I'll give him that. He looked in good shape.
But I mean, do you really want to see Pulev fight Joshua? You think that's really going to happen?
Remember, he was it last year? He had to pull out.
Yeah, that's right.
When Carlos Takam stepped in.
That's right. Yeah.
So at last, he's kind of getting his chance. Pulev is 26-1. He's only lost coming to Klitschko a few years back. So I thought back to the fight. I thought, you know, Hughie sort of did okay. He got opened up a cut. I think it was in the second round, just near his eye. I think what they said afterwards was a cut that came during some sparring during training. So it kind of opened up a little injury on his left eyelid, which kind of was a distraction to him. It kind of seemed like early on, you know, the blood was kind of getting into his eye. But Pulev, I think it was a worthy winner. He won on all three cards.
117, 111, right?
Yeah, 117, 111, 118, 110, 115, 113. I didn't see anything wrong with that, watching it. Kind of was a bit of a boring fight. I thought it was going to be a better fight than that, same as the Joseph Parker fight.
That's what I was hearing, that it wasn't as exciting. But I mean, like, did anybody really expect fireworks, honestly?
Does anybody expect fireworks from a Fury? Apart from...
I mean, even Tyson Fury, like, yeah, as one of the most, like, you know, I guess, recognizable fighters in boxing, especially in the heavyweight division, even he admits that his style isn't exciting. He's a slick boxer, and you know,
I think it was anybody who listened to the Joe Rogan Tyson Fury podcast, which was a great podcast.
We're going to touch on that later on.
he even said himself that, he can't watch back his fight against Klitschko because it was that bad.
Yeah. We'll get into that as we get into because that was I was at his media workout out here in LA representing the last round. So we'll get into that and dissect what some words he said and some drama that actually happened there with a reporter. So it was actually pretty crazy.
Drama and Tyson Fury? Really, Danny?
Drama with Tyson Fury, yeah. Drama with Tyson Fury. But, like we were saying right now, the winner of this fight, obviously Pulev, is it signed? Is it going to be like a guarantee that he's going to fight Joshua in April? Or is it
No. Or
is it kind of just like, oh yeah, it's likely that it might be like that? Or
it's looking like it will be that way unless, the Wilder and Fury, one of those two, suddenly agree to fight him.
Right.
But it's probably more likely, that he'll fight Pulev because the Fury fight and the Wilder fight for Joshua are definitely going to be more risk reward. Whereas if he fights Pulev, I'm pretty sure we both agree that the odds are going to be stacked in Joshua's favor.
Yeah.
So if you think about it,
he's going to sell how many tickets at Wembley? 70,000 or something?
Yeah. So I would say he's probably going to fight Pulev, and they'll go down the route of, he's the mandatory, so we're just giving him the mandatory shot. So unless Wilder or Fury just suddenly jump out and say, "Hey, let's get a deal done," I think it'll be Pulev.
You don't think that Joshua at this point, I get it. Like there's fighters fight up the rankings and they're like, oh, I earned a mandatory shot, and but when you're as big a star as like Anthony Joshua and stuff, your stock is so high, and you have casual fans, especially in the UK, where people are going to want to see you fight like some stiff competition or at least some names. But then we heard from people inside the boxing game that the rankings aren't really real. They're manipulated. But,
yeah, you can see how many times do you see a title fight, and that the guy's fighting somebody from the top 15.
Right.
Prime example, the WBO the other day. How many people had heard of Walter?
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't even say his last name. He was in the top 15. He popped up. The guy had never fought outside of Namibia.
I noticed
but he was in the top 15.
Where the hell did he come from?
Yeah, so it's...
But, hey, it is what it is.
Exactly.
What are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do? But, I don't know. I could see them just say, look, Fury and Wilder just fought, so I'm going to fight Pulev. I don't know. I can't see Joshua taking that fight. Who else could Joshua fight at this moment?
It's
Ortiz?
looking... See, that's a risky one. Ortiz and Wilder.
It is a risky one, but Joshua needs to I don't know. Obviously he fights what? April and
probably September. Seem to be the two months that he seems to go for.
So he's likely. I think Eddie Hearns already said that he'll be back in April.
April the 13th. They booked Wembley.
Yeah, April 13th. So I don't know. Pulev is mandatory IBF.
They'd already agreed to fight previous when Takam stepped in.
Right, that was last year. Yeah,
I'm sure they'll want to go for it again. And to me, I think it's probably the easiest fight that can be made, due to Fury and Wilder probably wanting a bigger slice of the pie, where Pulev will probably accept less money. Risk and reward is going to be more stacked in Joshua's corner. So I think that's the fight that we'll see on April 13th, 2019 at Wembley.
You think so?
I think so, yeah.
How many seats do you think they're going to sell?
They'll sell out.
How many seats does Wembley hold?
80,000, but I believe they can stretch it to 90 because obviously they can put extra seats onto the pitch, for ringside. Mm-hmm. So I think they can push it to 90. I think I heard somewhere one time. So, once they get a big name, if he fights Fury or Wilder, I'm sure they'll push it to as much as they can. Get 90, maybe even try and stretch it to 100,000. Just try and get as much money out of the cash cow, Joshua, as they can. So
at the end of the day, you got to make some money.
Yeah, exactly.
As much money as you can. So, and is that going to fight? That fight's going to be on DAZN, isn't it?
Yeah, it will be.
Right?
I think Joshua's
because I think the last fight was on DAZN.
Yeah,
right.
And then obviously he was HBO, and they're gone by then. 2019, they're going to be gone. So
I guess. Whatever.
Yeah,
that's a dead horse that we're not going to beat. But, moving on, Regis Prograde defeated Terry Flanagan in the World Boxing Super Series by unanimous decision. I like Prograde. I'm a fan. What do you think?
The same. I thought it was a good fight. Prograde fighting in New Orleans again, in front of his home crowd. I thought it was a good fight. I thought Prograde made...
That was on DAZN too. Yeah,
I watched it on DAZN. I watched it on the app. It was one of those days, Danny, where I had the TV on. I think I had HBO on the TV. I had DAZN on the laptop.
Dang.
Just sat there, just doing that.
It's all over the place.
All day.
It was a boxing all day.
Which seems to be every Saturday now.
Yeah.
Anyway, going back to the fight.
It was the quarterfinals too, right?
It was the quarterfinals of the World Boxing Super Series, the second part. Prograde won by unanimous decision. He dropped Flanagan in the 8th. That's the first time that Flanagan had ever been down. He took it well. He got back up. Prograde kind of attacked him and tried to finish him off in the 8th. Flanagan did the wise thing and just tried to, hug him every time he got close just to try and get his feet back underneath him. Prograde did make Flanagan look a little bit basic, a little bit one-dimensional.
Oh, yeah. I think it was lopsided.
Yeah.
He made it seem like you shouldn't be in here with me.
Which surprised me because Flanagan
he got talent.
Yeah.
I was surprised about too. I was like, man, he's really showing that his talent is above you. Like
his lateral movement was terrible. He's literally back and forth.
I kept watching on Twitter and people were saying like his lateral movement sucks.
It was non-existent. It was literally like he was on a bungee string. He just kept forward and back the whole time. Prograde though, I thought he was good. He mixed it up quite well, and then once he got to the later round, and I think he kind of knew he had the fight in the bag, he started to showboat a little bit for the crowd. He was dropping his hands, kind of calling Flanagan to come and fight him. It was a good show from him. Like we said, I didn't expect him to make Flanagan look so basic. And then Prograde against Kaylee Relic in the next round for the semi-final. That's going to be a pretty fan-friendly fight.
And Prograde is, I think, rated as the number 1 in the Super Series right now.
Yeah, he was. He was rated number 1.
Because then they asked him post-fight. Of course, like you always do the post-fights and stuff, like, who he'd like to face in the next following round, or as you go forward. And he pretty much said, I don't care who I face. He's like, I'm going to win the whole thing anyways. So it doesn't matter who you put in front of me. I'm going to win the whole thing. So, I mean, hey, if he keeps looking like that and keeps fighting these subsequent opponents, how he fought Flanagan, and Flanagan's no bum. No. Flanagan's good. Like, he's got talent. But, yeah.
That was his second fight since he moved up in weight category.
Oh, that's right.
His first one was Maurice Hooker over in England for the WBO, which Hooker beat Flanagan then, and then this was his second one at the new weight category. So far the move up for Terry's not been the best.
You think he'll go back down?
I think the thing is though, I don't think he can because
it's like a weight issue.
Yeah, because he was so big at the weight category below. Maybe that was why he was winning. Because obviously he'd weigh in and then bulk up, like refeed and come in. Probably
it's like Jaime Munguia, 154.
Yeah, exactly. It's obviously Terry Flanagan's getting a little bit older. He probably couldn't do that anymore. But it wasn't the performance we expected. But
Prograde defended. He retained his WBC Diamond title, which was on the line. Not a world title, but it's a. Would you call it a secondary title, or what would you call that? Because we call these regular WBA world titles and whatever, they call them secondary titles, secondary world titles. What would you call like these diamond titles, these North American? Like, what would be the official or the accepted terminology for that?
Trinket.
A trinket? A trinket title? I mean, like, it's cool. You still get a title, and it's kind of like working your way up and stuff. Because I know some sanctioning bodies, like, if you have a silver title or a diamond title, like, okay, you'll get a world title. Like, there's,
I'm thinking that when we take over the podcast world, Danny, that we should
it's coming.
We should bring out our own The Last Round copper title.
Copper title.
Aluminium. Aluminum, as you guys call it over
aluminium.
Here. Yeah.
Aluminum title.
The aluminium emerald title.
Just make it out of aluminum, like soda cans. the last round world title. Hey, you never know. Watch. I think we're gonna do it one day, like as a gag, and just we'll put it up on the wall here, and then we'll start taking pictures of it so people can take pictures with it. Like, oh, the new last round champion is so and so today. Whoever the guest is that week, they're the champ. I'm telling you, I think we can do it. But obviously, Prograde going on in the Super Series, and he's rated as the number 1 seed. I think he can win it all. What do you think? After that performance,
I'm
just like, you know what? I think
he stepped up for me in that performance, because I did think, I was like, Prograde's good, but he's kind of been fed the right opposition. Goes into the Super Series. Even though you get to pick your first opponent, after that, when he picked Flanagan, I was like, dude, that's a tough
what
fight.
The hell? I was like, Flanagan.
Because he was first pick.
Yeah, and I was like, wow. But I was excited. I was like, I like that matchup. I was excited for it, but I mean, obviously, it didn't produce what we thought it was going to produce. Flanagan just got outclassed.
Yeah, it was a good fight. I enjoyed watching it.
But obviously there was more fights on that card, the World Boxing Super Series from New Orleans, Louisiana. Anthony Yigit.
Anthony Yigit, yep.
Yigit and Ivan. Help me out here. How do you pronounce his last name?
I think it's Barabchek.
So anyways, the referee stopped the fight after the 7th round because of the ringside doctor. And I don't know if you saw, I'm pretty sure you saw the photo of Yigit's left eye. Holy crap. If you guys haven't seen the photo of Anthony Yigit's left eye post-fight, after the fight, Google it, go on Twitter, Instagram, because he took literally a close-up shot of his face.
He looked like Quasimodo.
Yeah, he looked like Quasimodo. It's like he got stung by a bunch of bees on the side of his face, and it just swelled up. Ridiculous. Like, I remember I was following on Twitter, and I was just like, holy crap. It kind of looked Photoshopped, but it's not. It was insane. It literally looked like he got stung by a bunch of bees. You saw the photo, right?
Yeah, I watched the fight because obviously I had both fights on at the same time, the HBO and then the World Boxing Super Series. It was a good fight, a little bit one-sided due to the injury. Barabchek came out there. He was 19-0, 12 knockouts, really attacking style, really fan-friendly. However long he can, kind of dark horse for that Super Series now after watching that performance.
Oh, yeah.
But I think people, were just looking at Prograde and Josh Taylor, people like that. But then that kind of performance from him, it was surprising. He kind of went in there just like literally just went all guns blazing.
Yeah, he did.
He was pushing Yigit back the whole time. Yigit was trying to counter him, but it just kind of wasn't really seem to work. I think Yigit was affected by how powerful Barabchek was.
Right.
And even though he was trying to fire back, he couldn't really get anything to stop Barabchek coming forward. I think maybe Barabchek could just realize, Yigit's not as powerful as me, and just was kind of walking through the shots. But I can see, Barabchek goes on to the semi-final. He faces the winner of Josh Taylor and Ryan Martin.
I like that fight too.
That's a big fight.
I like that fight too. The Taylor Martin.
We'll touch on that anyway in the preview because I think that's next weekend.
Yeah.
But that's a good fight. It's two great fighters there. Yigit's not really a power puncher, so you could tell that Barabchek was just going to walk him down. And
yeah,
I think from early on you could kind of see he was going to be a little one-sided, and Barabchek just walked him down, finished him off, and left him looking like Quasimodo.
That was insane, man.
It was a good decision by the referee because Yigit, I think he wanted to carry on. Brave performance, but it's not really worth his eyesight.
No, absolutely not. I was like, holy crap, I hope his eye's all right.
Yeah, it was a good fight. And then you can tell, it was a big injury because, lots of newspapers and all over Twitter and Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
People that don't normally show boxing.
No, yeah, but that, see, for of course, the lesser names in boxing, and I'm not saying lesser names because they're like, crappy or anything. I'm talking about in terms of, publicity, as opposed to like Floyd Mayweather and like
Canelo, Joshua.
Yeah, that's what I mean. When stuff like this happens, like, yeah, like, oh yeah, you're not in the best lighting and everything, but it's just like, oh well, look at how much publicity you got. You know, it can only help the career. Like, oh yeah, I remember you. I saw your face when your eye was all swollen and stuff. You know, it can only help your stock.
No such thing as bad press.
There's no such thing as
what
bad
they say.
press. There's no such thing as bad press. I mean, it depends who you ask. I'm sure there's people out there who be like, oh, you know, I disagree with that.
Yeah.
But moving on to, as of right now, the second to the last HBO card of the year, which was headlined by Danny Jacobs and Sergey Derevyanchenko for the IBF middleweight world title. But the night started with a WBO featherweight women's world title with Heather Hardy, who's also fights in MMA. I feel like a lot of these females are doing the dual sport thing. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it seems to be, you know, at the minute, MMA are paying more money. Listening to Heather Hardy talk, she was saying that one of the reasons was that MMA was paying more money than boxing was currently.
Right.
Maybe these new deals are now, you know, getting spots on HBO. We might get a few more women's fights. It's screened live. So it could change, you know. Ronda Rousey kind of started off for the women, it seems, in the fight scene. Right. Over the last few years.
Yeah, Ronda Rousey definitely paved a huge path for them. But, you know, going to the fight, Heather Hardy fought Shelly Vincent for the WBO featherweight world title and defeated her by unanimous decision, 97-93, 97-93, twice actually, and 99-91. I don't know. I caught some highlights of it online on Twitter and everything, and it was actually kind of competitive at times. I don't know if
I enjoyed it. That's probably one of the best women's boxing matches I've been to.
I was reading that online, and some people were just like, you know what, like that was actually pretty competitive, you know, because I mean, you know, that's the thing right now that I've heard from critics, and like, oh, you know, there's not really any exciting fights right now with, you know, women and stuff, and it's not like these people are hating, but like, you know, yeah, everybody wants to see, especially casual fans, they want to see blood and, you know, crazy drama. It
was a rematch of a fight that had gone on last year, I believe, between the two. So you can see they came out and they were just going for it. I think they were averaging something like 70 to 80 punches each per round.
That's insane.
Exactly, for 2-minute rounds. That's a lot of punches.
That's a lot. And they go 2-minute rounds. A lot of people forget that females do 2-minute rounds and not 3.
It was a great fight. I thought the right person won. I thought Hardy won. She kind of outboxed her aggressive rival. Towards the end, Hardy was showing there was kind of levels. She was kind of like turning her back, you know, like just ducking underneath, dropping her hands, you know, kind of showboating a little bit for the last couple of rounds. I thought one of the craziest things, you probably saw it on Twitter, was some of the stuff that the commentary was saying.
What were they saying?
Did you see that? Do you know when they come up at the start and they're like, oh, here's Danny Z and here's some facts about Danny Z.
Right.
One of the things HBO put on about this Shelly Vincent was she's been arrested 3 times. I was like, what yeah, honestly, if you saw on Twitter, there's pictures of like people have screenshotted it, put it on Twitter, HBO are kind of clutching at straws, you know, they're putting on people's criminal records.
Oh, wow.
Because it's like 3 notable facts that, you know, probably you want me to know. You know, has a master's degree or has won a world title they put like has been arrested 3 times.
You gotta think about it. Like, is it because HBO knows like, hey, it doesn't matter. We're out here anyways. They're kicking us out. Let's just go guns blazing. Or is it that they really actually researched and they talked to her and there wasn't just any stuff that was interesting, so they were like, wow, this is the most interesting thing. Let's just throw it up there.
I think it was for assault. She'd been arrested 3 times for assault.
What the hell?
At first I was like, have I seen that right? And then I went onto Twitter because obviously it'd gone off the screen and everyone was like...
And I bet you there was a lot of people who thought it was a joke.
Yeah, and there was something else that they said on the commentary that I don't really want to repeat. I'll maybe tell you off air because it was worse than that.
The HBO commentators?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah. We'll tweet it out.
I did tweet it out on the night, but... You know, I don't want to kind of talk about it on the podcast.
If you want to see what it is, go to our Twitter at the last round 12, and you'll see what HBO team said. But you know, this is Heather Hardy's first world title. She's 22-0 now, with 4 KOs, undefeated, 22-0. I like Heather Hardy. I like her. I think. You know, she's obviously fighting a lot. She's undefeated. And she has a good personality, and she's fighting in the dual sports right now. And she's marketable. I think it works.
She's got a good story because I think they were saying like 3-4 years ago she was homeless.
Yeah. I think she's like a single mom.
Yeah, she's kind of fighting, to make a better life for her and a kid.
Right.
So,
but we asked for some questions the last couple of days leading up to today's show. And then one of the questions we got was for this fight, Heather Hardy, right? And what was the question again?
Is she, now that she's won the WBO featherweight title, will she stay in boxing, or do we think that she'll go back to doing MMA? She fights in Bellator, I believe.
Yeah, Bellator MMA, and that question came courtesy of our buddy from New York, New Jersey area, our at Carbazel on Twitter, Carbazel. I hope I got that right. So don't get mad at me, Ed, if I got that wrong. But quick plug for him. He's a huge MMA enthusiast. He's also a journalist over there in the East Coast. He writes for SureDog and a couple other sites. I've never met anybody who's more knowledgeable in MMA than he is. So if you follow him on Twitter at Carbazel, literally like he retweets and he tweets about MMA all the time. And he knows about MMA like going back as far as you can think. So if you want an MMA guy to follow at Carbazel. But we got that question courtesy of him. If he thinks, like you said, if she's going to stay in boxing and go back to MMA. And we actually got a response from the editor-in-chief of Ring Magazine on that tweet.
And Jamal Herring.
Oh, and Jamal Herring, yeah. And they said that they think that no, she's gonna do both. Right? Is that what it was?
Dougie said that he thinks she'll stay in boxing due to just winning a world title.
Right, that's what it was.
Listening to Heather, she did an interview with another podcast. I can't remember the name for me, but listening to her, she was pretty much saying she obviously fights for money.
Yeah.
She's 36 years old now.
Right.
She's trying to make as much money as she can. I believe she got $16,500 for the fight and then $2,000 for the win. I read on ESPN, I believe. So, that's decent money, kind of in the women's boxing world at the minute. And I don't know whether Bellator will be paying her more, but I imagine that she'll probably follow wherever the money is. And now that she's got the WBO title, should hopefully be able to command some bigger purses.
Absolutely, yeah.
And like you said, she's marketable and she's unbeaten.
Right.
So I imagine it probably goes from strength to strength.
Yeah, I mean, and especially her, I think it's very telling that she said that, I was doing MMA because they were paying more. So, I think and now that she's technically, is she signed to, because she was fighting for Bellator MMA, and Bellator MMA has a contract with DAZN.
Mm-hmm.
They're streamed on DAZN. And, if she fights with them again, it'll be on DAZN likely. And then maybe she can ink a deal with maybe Eddie Hearn, Matchroom, or even Golden Boy. I don't know.
She's with Lou DiBella.
Oh, she is with Lou DiBella.
And Lou DiBella has
Don't get mad at us, Lou. Sorry, I forgot.
And Lou has a deal with DAZN now.
He does. Yeah. So. And you know what? I talked to a lot of people who were surprised about that. They were like, Lou DiBella with DAZN?
Because of him and Eddie?
Yeah. Because him and Eddie. And then also because, Lou works a lot with Al Heyman and PBC Showtime. I get it. But there was one interview I saw, I'm sure he did other ones where he said, no, he's like, if I have fighters and I get approached or I'm able to strike a deal with, platforms, like I'm going to do it. Because I'm looking out for my fighters and stuff. And I thought that was cool because, I think that was good for boxing in terms of that he went and got some fighters to DAZN, from his stable. I thought it was good because then it shows like people like, oh yeah, it's not just like him working with Heyman and PBC Showtime. I thought that was good for the sport. So I'm glad that she fights with Lou, and Lou I think is from New York. So, and then she's also from New York. So, that's why that partnership makes sense. And which is good though, But no, I think she's gonna be able to make some pretty decent money for the remainder of her career now that she's got a world title, and then she'll go back and forth with Bellator and then boxing and kind of go from there. I mean, what is there anybody in that weight class who she could fight?
I think with the women's, though, they kind of move up and down the weight categories a lot.
I think she's moved up and she's moved down.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, they just kind of go up and down and up and down. And it's just like... Oh.
Because there's not that quality of depth yet in the women's division.
But, you know, going on to there was 3 world title fights. 3 world title fights on this HBO card.
It was a good card.
It was a good card.
It was a good card.
So junior lightweight battle between Alberto Machado, who has a nickname Explosivo, which I'm not going to explain what it means because you can kind of get it. Explosive.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about Flanagan and Prograde, how Prograde was making him look like an amateur. I think this was worse. What do you think?
Blink and you miss it. If you go up out of your seat to go and get a beer or a coffee or anything from the kitchen, by the time you came back, you'd probably missed the whole fight.
Oh, yeah. It was a first-round knockout. He dropped him 3 times.
Machado just went in there. He kind of said beforehand that he was going to go in there and waste no time. And that's pretty much what he did. He went in there to retained his 130-pound belt for the second time. Machado, the southpaw, wasted no time, blasting Evans out with a straight left hand, Dropped him towards the end of the round. The whole fight only lasted 2 minutes, 25 seconds. Machado just went in there and he was a class above. He obviously wasn't getting paid any overtime. He just went in there and
I get paid to say whether I go 12 or go 1.
Yeah, exactly.
And Machado was trained by Freddie Roach.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Freddie was there.
He's out here a wild card.
Yeah, he was out there. He was in his corner. Not really much we can kind of touch on in that fight. He just went in there, and I don't know if Evans even landed a punch. But I liked the way the Machado afterwards in his interview, he said he's not bothered who he fights yet. I'll fight anybody.
Yeah,
I want to fight again very soon.
Yeah,
and I want all the big fights.
Yeah,
fight again very soon. You could probably fight again today. He only lasted 2 minutes 25 seconds.
Right. I mean, I don't know what the New York Commission's rules are in terms of. I think because I know in California, if you fight a certain amount of rounds, then you're suspended for 60 days or something.
Yeah.
But if you fight 4, then you're suspended for I think a month or less, maybe 2-3 weeks. And if you fight 6, it depends how many rounds you fight.
Yeah.
But whatever. But like you said, if you blink, you miss it on this one. It was stopped within 3 minutes of the round. He just knocked him down and just blasted him. If that left hand he was using was nasty, but. At the end we got, the generic answer that boxing's always going to hear in the post-fight interviews, like, oh yeah, I want all the big fights. I'll fight anybody. But I like Machado. I think he's a force to be reckoned with, and he can produce some, going by his nickname, some explosive fights. What do you think?
He's good. I liked him. I thought it was a good place to show him to the fans. Obviously, being from Puerto Rico. I think Miguel Cotto was there in the crowd.
He was, yeah.
So he was trying to appeal to that Puerto Rican contingent over in that area.
Right.
Who would you like to see him fight next? In that division, we've got Miguel Berchelt is fighting soon.
You know what?
Next weekend.
I think him and Berchelt would be. Is it Berchelt or Berchelt?
Me being English, I murder most names like that.
That's right. You're gonna murder it. Anyways. Yeah. I think it's Berchelt. Let's just stick with Berchelt.
Okay.
I would like Machado versus Berchelt. I mean, in terms of money, it might not sell, and that's probably how they're going to look at it. But in terms of,
I don't know, Puerto Rico, Mexico. That's
that's
rivalry.
True. You could sell that.
Play on the rivalry.
Yeah, you could. You could sell that. That'd actually be good. Yeah, that's true.
That's a big. To me, Berchelt has kind of been wrapped in. He actually fights next weekend, so we could have done this on the preview bit, but. Berchelt's kind of been wrapped in cotton wool a little bit, do you not think? And the WBC have kind of helped him out along the way.
Right.
He's kind of had a lot of fights against unknown people in Mexico. He fights Miguel Roman next week, right? In El Paso?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does. Yeah,
that's a great fight. It's a very fan-friendly fight. I like Miguel Roman. He just comes and fights. One of my favorites.
That whole division, it's exciting right now.
It is.
They got some really great young fighters right now. And
Machado to Gervonta would be
another
one.
If Gervonta ever fights.
If he makes weight as well. He looks like
he's
about...
Or if he ever fights. I mean, I don't know what's going on with him and his side of the the business and
He's looking more like a middleweight.
He's obviously unhappy. Whatever's happening over there. So, but regardless, like I hope he fights soon because he's exciting to watch. He's a young guy. He and I don't think he's going to fight this at least this year. It's probably going to be in 2019. But
pretty much what he put on Twitter, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I don't know if you follow him on Twitter, you check out his Twitter feed. You'll see how
he's a laugh a minute on Twitter. If you're not following, follow him. He's a crazy guy.
It seems like he's getting pretty irritated with his promoter. So. But like I said, you got Gervonta Davis, Miguel Berchelt, Machado. It's an exciting.
The winner of that would be a great one. The winner of Berchelt and Roman. They fight next weekend, so the winner of that would be a great fight. Since it looks like Gervonta is kind of going to go down the Tevin Farmer route if he can, if Mayweather let him. But,
are they really going to put Tevin Farmer in there? I don't know. I think Gervonta is just too good for Tevin Farmer. But
he seems to want it though, unless he's just
no. I think they just want it because like that's been kind of brewing like a little personal rivalry for a long time, and it's mostly like I just want to show you that I can whoop you. That's
I agree.
What it is.
Yeah.
But in terms of talent and who's gonna, I think Gervonta's gonna beat him.
I think Gervonta's, if that fight gets him made, I think his biggest problem is going to be making weight.
Yeah. That's going to be his biggest obstacle. It's not going to be the actual fight. It's going to be
last time I saw him on TV, his head looked like it weighed 130 pounds.
Yeah.
He put on that much weight.
But, transitioning to the main event of this HBO card, middleweight world title fight for the IBF middleweight world title between Danny Jacobs and Sergey Derevyanchenko, which is crazy that a lot of people didn't know, but they've been sparring partners for years. And they've sparred, I think they said over 1,000 times or like a ton of times.
It's like just over 300 rounds, I think.
A ton of times. It's a ton of times. Like they said, so when people found that out, because there was a lot of people I saw on Twitter after they did the HBO, The Road to Jacobs Derevyanchenko, and they did like a little, they do, it's like they're.
I like those.
Yeah, they're good. And that's the things I'm going to miss, but. It sucks. I'm sure they'll come back for special ones.
DAZN's ones were good though, kind of switching up. The ones for the World Boxing Super Series they did on Regis Prograde and those guys.
And then kind of like a side conversation for that. I hope somebody picks up, and I hope it's DAZN honestly. The narrator for the HBO, he's an actor. He was in X-Men. He's been in a bunch of movies. He narrates 24/7 and all those. Oh yeah. HBO. What's his name? Liev Schreiber or something like that. He's an actor. Because I was thinking, well, if HBO Boxing's gone, because I know he does other stuff for HBO documentaries and stuff, but I kind of hope he's kind of like a contractor. DAZN should pick him up, man, because he's out of all these boxing narrators, that guy's my favorite narrator. His voice is just insane. All those 24/7s. But shout, DAZN, if you're hearing this, pick up Liev Schreiber as your narrator and pull out your own 24/7 documentary series because those are huge, man.
Yeah, I like them.
I like them a lot. But, going to the main event, Jacobs beat Derevyanchenko and won the IBF world title at middleweight by split decision. So it was actually kind of tough fight. It was competitive.
Yeah, it was an entertaining and highly competitive fight. Kind of like the little known to most fans, Sergey Derevyanchenko came in. He was a 2008 Olympian. Obviously, they'd been sparring partners. They actually shared the same manager, same trainer, same assistant.
Talk about the trainer issue right there, what they did.
So they had the same trainer in Andre Rosier, but he'd been with Jacobs for longer.
Yeah,
I think since Jacobs was like 10 or something. I think they said on HBO. So obviously, when it got closer to the time, they had a feeling that the guys were going to meet. So Rosier decided to go with Jacobs because he'd been with Jacobs since he was, I think it was like 10 years old. And then the assistant trainer actually went with Derevyanchenko. And then,
I like it though. I think we both picked Jacobs to win. Or did you pick Derevyanchenko? Or did we go opposite again?
I think we both went Jacobs.
I think we both went Jacobs. But I thought especially fighting in New York, Jacobs is a New York native. He's from Brooklyn. So I was like, okay, even if it is a close fight and it goes to the cards, they're going to give it to Jacobs. You just kind of assume that, But I caught the highlights and I was able to catch the fight, and then I think Jacobs did deserve the win. He got the middleweight title, and of course, he's in one of the most lucrative divisions right now in the sport at 160. And what question did they ask him at the end in the post fight? What do you think?
What next?
What next? And what does he say? They, of course, they asked him because he fought Triple G last year, or was it this year? No, yeah, it was 2017. And he lost, but it was he had his moments, and he actually gave him a fight. Because if you remember Triple G at the end when they announced the scores, like even when Triple G's arms were raised, he was like kind of like still nervous. But they asked him like, oh, who do you want? They asked about Canelo because I think he now becomes a mandatory to Canelo because he's got a belt. Or is that how that? No, I don't know. But I think they were just talking. They were talking about Canelo and stuff. But now that Canelo's on DAZN. But the thing is, Jacobs is signed with Eddie Hearn with Matchroom. So does that mean that Jacobs is going to go to DAZN? Because Jacobs is still signed
with HBO, who this is come at the end of the year. HBO
the end of the year, yeah, it's going to be gone. So this is obviously Jacobs' last fight on HBO. But I'm talking about in terms of Jacobs' manager is still Al Heyman. So, but his promoter is Eddie Hearn.
Mm-hmm.
So are they going to let Jacobs go on DAZN? Like, that's what I'm interested to see.
I would think so, but it looks like DAZN are trying to tie up that division. Because obviously they've got Canelo, and the two biggest of the free agents are probably going to be Jacobs. But like you say, he's kind of tied in with Eddie Hearn. So I think, the likely destination for him is going to be DAZN, which then leaves Triple G.
Yeah. But Jacobs did say that he'd rematch Triple G, but Triple G doesn't have a title anymore. He wants the champs, and he wants Canelo.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't know, man. Jacobs is like 6'1", 6 foot, I think. And I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's why they're having Canelo fight Fielding to kind of get a feel for Jacobs because, Fielding is tall, Jacobs is tall, and Canelo fighting guys like Chavez Jr. and Fielding. Yeah, they don't have the talent that like Jacobs has, but, it's more of maybe like a physical thing, getting in there with bigger guys, taller guys, height advantage and stuff like that,
What do you think about the Jamel Charlo? Because obviously, Charlo and Jacobs have trash talked a bit in the past. That's kind of a fight that I would imagine might interest Jacobs.
I think it does interest him. But, if Charlo, if Jermall Charlo fights at 162,
mm-hmm.
Jacobs has the title. So, I'm sure Jacobs would be open to fighting Charlo. I think he says he is. But Charlo's going to have to go to Jacobs. But, I mean, they have the same manager now, Heyman. But Jacobs is promoted by Eddie Hearn's Matchroom. There's a weird conundrum here. So, is Jacobs going to fight on DAZN? Is Charlo going to have to go to DAZN to fight him? Or is Jacobs going to go to Showtime or a PBC card on Fox? Is Eddie Hearn going to co-promote? That's intriguing right there because, Jacobs is kind of like in a weird position in terms of that. He's got options and, it'll still work out for him. But obviously, if he's calling out Canelo, he knows, okay, well, Canelo's with DAZN. All his fights are going to be with DAZN. So obviously, Jacobs is extremely open to fighting Canelo on DAZN. I mean, why wouldn't you want to fight the cash cow of boxing, especially when he's in your division? So, but what do we got next? John Ryder. Why do I think of the Terminator when I think of John Ryder?
You're thinking of, is it Jack Ryder? Is
it Jack Ryder?
Isn't that like a superhero movie or something like that, where the guy's like a secret agent?
Jack Ryan?
Maybe.
Jack Ryan.
Maybe I'm just making up.
Show.
Maybe I'm making up.
It's like some CIA Amazon show with Jim from The Office, the American version, not the UK version. But Jack Ryder versus. Okay, you're gonna help me out here. How do you pronounce the last name?
You go for it.
Sorokin. I apologize if I got that wrong. I apologize, but I'm trying. I gave it a great attempt. Sorokin?
I would say Andrei Sirotkin.
Yeah, Sirotkin.
I guess.
Like Sirot. But anyways, Ryder stopped Sorokin, who was undefeated at that point. He was undefeated.
15-0 going into the fight.
And Ryder started with a body shot in the 7th round. And Ryder is now the WBA super champ, or
He's a mandatory.
He's a mandatory for WBA Super Champ Callum Smith.
So
I like Callum Smith.
Yeah, Callum Smith. That should be a good fight if those two actually get to match each other next year. Callum Smith, I imagine, is probably going to be looking at bigger and better things. I think him going to face John Ryder would be kind of a step back. I think Callum Smith's going to be looking at more world titles, trying to, make himself the undisputed champion in that weight category, looking for bigger fights down the line. Good win for John Ryder, so we'll have to see what happens there, whether they do actually give him the mandatory title shot or whether Callum Smith will just vacate, look for bigger paydays elsewhere.
All about the paydays.
Exactly. This goes into one of the questions who was sent in on Twitter by @Connor Ryan. And his question, Danny Z, is by Ryder winning by KO and not on points, it cost him £800. Can you recommend a legal remedy for him to get over that loss of £800, which is probably around about $1,100, I think?
It's a pound stronger than the dollar?
Yes, sir.
Damn.
Yes, sir, it is.
1-0 UK.
I think in this situation, Connor, I think I would probably just drink until I didn't remember it.
Yeah.
That's legal.
That's our advice, Connor. No, it's not our advice. Don't really do that. We don't recommend that. But to drink it, we don't recommend that. So we don't want no lawsuits, no liability. But legal remedies. I don't know.
His name's Connor, so maybe a bottle of Proper 12.
Proper 12, Conor McGregor. Yeah. Get a bottle of Proper 12. Tweet Conor McGregor, send him an Instagram message, and be like, "Hey man, I got 800 pounds. I got an issue over here. Just sell him your issues. Tell him what's going on, and there's your remedy. I don't know if it's legal, but that's a remedy.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Or you can just file a complaint with some...
Or contact John Ryder.
Contact John Ryder. File a complaint with some consumer protection board or something. I don't know. But, I'm sure there'll be paydays in down the road if, the work ethic is still there, so it shouldn't be too bad. But back to the World Boxing Super Series. Ryan Burnett and Nonito Donaire. What is this, 2013? Nonito Donaire.
Yeah, it should be a good fight, that one. I think the biggest problem, the rumor coming out is the Nonito Donaire is struggling to make weight. I don't know how true that is, though, because it's been many, many years since Nonito has fought at that weight category.
Is it 122?
Yeah, he dropped back down.
Yeah.
Since the Carl Frampton fight. I heard an interview with him today. He says he's actually already within a few pounds of making the weight. So that sounds like it's good.
Donaire was a beast like 5-6 years ago.
I know. Is it Paul Butler, Danny? He's on the undercard as the stand-in.
Yeah.
If anybody gets
Donaire
injured.
doesn't make it, mostly it's for him, then he's going to jump in, I think.
So that'll be an all-British fight if Paul Butler and Burnett manage to face each other.
I've always been a fan of Donaire.
Great fighter.
I like Burnett.
Yeah.
I like Burnett, but I think it's because, Nonito Donaire years ago showed that he was like, I'm fighting anybody, and he was beating all these people, but then, he got in there with Guillermo Rigondeaux, and then that kind of put him down, and, I like Donaire. I still like seeing him. I still get excited to see when he fights and stuff. I'm a fan. I like him.
Who have you got in that fight then?
I'm going to go with my heart. I'm going to say Donaire.
I'm going to go with the Brit.
Damn, of course you are.
I'm going to go with Burnett.
I'm going Donaire.
I think he might just be too young,
but
too lively.
I think I should go with Burnett. My mind says I should go with Burnett, but I'm not. My heart says go with Donaire. I'm going with Donaire.
See, that's how you lose 800 pounds.
Oh, I know. Damn it, Connor. I'm going to lose 800 pounds.
Yeah, there you go.
Lot. But anyways, and we touched on this earlier, Miguel Berchelt and Miguel Roman. I'm
going to go for... Do you know what? I'm going to go for a surprise. I think Roman.
Really? I don't think so, man.
Berchelt's good, but there's something in my head that just says Roman.
I don't think so.
It's a big fight for him, and Berchelt, I think, has just had a few soft opponents. He's had a couple of injuries when he was supposed to fight in Vegas. When I actually saw Salido and Roman.
Miguel versus Miguel.
Exactly. So Miguel, I think I'm going to go for Miguel.
I'm going to go for Miguel too. Looks like we're both going for Miguel.
We're going for Miguel.
Night. So, but I don't know, man. I'm going Berchelt. I'm going Berchelt.
Honestly, something in me, it just says Miguel Roman. I don't know why.
regardless, we both win because Miguel wins.
There you go.
Well, unless it's a draw. But that means that Miguel still won.
Yeah, he still keeps his title.
He still keeps his title. Yeah. We both picked Miguel, so either way we win. So it's not a big deal. Sullivan Barrera and Sean Monaghan. Did I say that right?
Sean Monaghan.
Yeah.
Irish.
Damn it, man.
He's one of those New York Irish.
Barrera's first fight back since he's got stopped by Bivol in March.
Yeah, he kind of, because at that point, Sullivan Barrera was on an upwards trajectory. He looked like he was going to get one of the big fights, and the rumor was he turned down a fight with Kovalev because he wanted more money. So he kind of screwed himself there because he ended up getting stopped by Bivol for a payday that was obviously substantially less.
Oh, yeah.
So, he needs to get himself back into the mix in that category. Sullivan Barrera should win that fight.
He should win
It
that
just
fight.
depends how he is after getting stopped by Bivol, whether that's affected him.
Yeah.
And, that's a big fight for Shawnee Monaghan to step up. That's actually in New York, I think. So I think it's actually going to be in Monaghan's
because Barrera still fights under main events, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I think that's actually that's a main event show, but it's on Golden Boy Facebook. What?
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I think so.
There was a report, and I don't think it was actually official yet, but that Main Events was working on a deal with like NBC or.
I heard a rumor. Yeah.
For
I don't think it's official yet, but I heard Kathy Duva.
And I was like, that's actually pretty big.
Yeah.
Because I was like, man, Main Events. What's going to happen to Main Events? But
hopefully they'll increase their stable as well.
Yeah.
A few more fighters because they're a smaller promotion. But
yeah, I mean, ever since Kovalev lost to Ward, Kovalev was the biggest one at the time, and but. If NBC picks them up, that's just better for the sport. And NBC's coming in, Fox, ESPN, DAZN, Showtime's still there. I'm glad with it. And then December 22nd, a couple days before Christmas, at least over here in the States. Is the UK, you guys celebrate Christmas over there?
Yes, we celebrate Christmas.
I don't know why I asked that. I should have known that.
Over the pond?
I don't know. I think it's just a whole politically correct nature that the world is today. So I'm treading lightly here. But the Charlo brothers, the twins, fighting December 22nd, and they flipped a coin at the press conference last week to see who would be main event. And it's going to be Jermall Charlo, the middleweight at 160, fighting Willie Monroe Jr. As the main event of the evening in Barclays Center, right?
Barclays Center again,
in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
That's PBC's playground right there.
Only the Charlo brothers would decide who was going to be main event by a coin toss.
Right.
They had the legendary heavyweight, Jerry Cooney, was there. He did the flip of the coin, and it was you fans out there, it was a WBC coin. I believe it had the WBC logo on one side and something like, I think it was Fox Sports logo or something like that on the other.
It's all marketing.
Yeah, exactly.
But Jermall Charlo, Willie Monroe. Obviously Charlo's a favorite. Monroe's, I like him. He's
boring though.
But yeah, he's a slick. Yeah, his style isn't as exciting.
Slick, we'll say it, Danny. Just say it. It's boring.
It's pretty boring. Yeah. But, Charlo's been knocking guys out. The Charlo brothers have been knocking guys out. So I don't think that fight's going to go 12. But it might. I don't know. Monroe is slick enough to, I don't know. It's a ways away. We're going to have time to talk about it. It's in December 22nd. And Jermell Charlo, who fights at 154, is fighting Tony Harrison as the co-main event since he lost the coin toss. Get it? Co-main event, coin toss? I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense. But the biggest news of the last couple days, Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury was out here. Actually, still out here. He's out here in Big Bear training. He did his media workout over here in Santa Monica, just outside of L.A., over there by the beach. And I was there. I was there representing the last round. And, so I was there. We were able to talk to him and get some video and stuff like that. And then, if you go on Twitter and go to our Twitter feed and then my Twitter feed at DannyZ_boxing, you'll see some photos and videos from the workout. He talked about his fight against Wilder. He talks about some other stuff. And then the crazy thing is I don't know if you saw, but Big Bear is like, what? Maybe 90, 100 miles away from Santa Monica.
Oh, easy, yeah.
Easy?
Must be.
And I thought about that too. I was like, how is he going to get there through this LA traffic? But he took a helicopter. He took.
Did he?
He took a helicopter. I don't know if you saw it, but he got picked up in Big Bear, and they took him all. They took him all the way. Technical difficulties with Mike's phone over there.
No,
Mike's phone. They took a helicopter all the way to Santa Monica and got there. Well, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 minutes, maybe less actually. But I was like, oh, okay. Well, yeah, it makes sense. You know, he's got enough money and it works out. So, but he was out there, and then we were able to talk to him, and then we were all doing the media scrum right there, and I was able to get some answers from him, and because somebody asked him about Vladimir Klitschko, because you know how he just coming back, Tyson Fury for the last couple of years, he was in like a battle of depression, he was suicidal, he was in a really bad place in his life, and he admits it. He's the first one to admit it. All these interviews he's done, he's been going out there and talking about it, kind of bringing awareness to it, which is pretty cool. So somebody asked him, what's the difference between Tyson Fury now and Tyson Fury in 2015? And this is what he said.
What's different about Tyson today compared to Tyson that beat Klitschko?
The Tyson that beat Klitschko is dead and gone. He don't exist anymore. That was years ago. I don't live on the past. I only live for today and tomorrow. What happened yesterday is history. I live for today.
Tyson, when you beat Klitschko, you said that getting to the top of the mountain, there was kind of nothing. At that point in time, you felt like there was nothing left for you.
Yeah, that's why I retired.
Are you at all concerned that beating Deontay Wilder, that you might have that same feeling again, or do you feel like a different person?
That's a good question, but a question that I'm not really.
Obviously, you don't
I don't look past Deontay Wilder. You know, I'm only interested in Deontay Wilder. How I feel about Deontay Wilder fight is I just want to win that fight. I might retire afterwards. I don't know, because I only race to the occasions on the night. Like I said it before, when the great Klitschko, 25 title defences, a so-called super champion. He was talking to me and he said, you want what I have? I said, what do you have? A load of belts and more. I said, I don't want that. I want to punch your face in. That's all I wanted, and I want to do the same to Deontay Wilder. I don't want what he has. I only want to beat him in a fight, and then he can go on about his business and I can do mine. That's it. It ain't personal. I just want to beat the best when they are the best. Because if this is going to be my era, then I've got to beat all comers.
How's testing coming? Because that was a big debate.
Yeah, I've got USADA and VADA. So we've got two different groups here, which I insisted we had two different groups, just to make it proper fair. So you never know what's going to go on with these people. We all know about it.
I want to punch your face in. You can say it better than me because you have the accent.
Kind of leads into a question we had from one of the listeners, actually, Danny. You can answer this since you were there and you kind of speaking to Tyson. You were
Throw it at me.
Is Fury a little bit overconfident to beat Wilder?
I don't think so, man. I don't think so. Especially being there in front of him, seeing him. I don't think it's overconfidence. I mean, I can see how some people might look at that. I think he's just happy. Because, you know, he was on the Joe Rogan podcast just after this media workout. And it was like an hour and a half interview just around there. And then even at the media workout, he talked about his depression and his suicidal thoughts and how he just wanted to die the last couple of years. And honestly, I don't think it's overconfidence. I just think it's like he's just excited. He's confident. I think he is confident. But there's a difference between being overconfident and being confident and like happy, because I think he's just happy that he's in a way better place in terms of mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and all that stuff than where he was in like 2 years ago, year and a half ago, even a year ago. Because he said he was weighing 400 pounds. I'm sure everybody saw those pictures of him weighing 400 pounds. And then he said he went back into the gym and he started losing weight in November of last year, just about a year ago. And now he told us he weighs about 258, 260. And that was the last week. So I don't think he's overconfident. I think it's confidence, but he's just happy that he feels good. I really think that's it. I don't think it's overconfidence. And there's a lot of people I've talked to they still think it's a 50-50 fight, and they were like, you know what? I was thinking Wilder was going to beat him, but I just think Fury's going to take it because they like his story. that he's coming, from this depression, this suicidal thoughts, and it's working out for him. I mean, I don't know.
Should we pick winners? We wait till closer to the time.
Winners for the
Wilder and Fury.
I think we should wait. I think we should hold on.
Should wait.
I know somebody asked us that. But we have a lot. There's a lot of time in here. I mean, between now and December 1st, and we're gonna try to get a guest in closer to that fight date, who's actually been in the ring, with one of them. So we're working on that. So hopefully it works out. But like you said, we appreciate whether you guys listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Audio Boom, Castbox, whatever. We're on all of them, all the big ones. We appreciate however you're listening. So we record Monday nights, and I think we have somebody.
We'll try and fit in just one of the last questions then, Danny, before we go.
We got one more question.
This is from Red Cares on Twitter. Is the number of Matchroom shows adversely affecting the quality? With Italy and Germany deals on the horizon, could this be exaggerated?
What do you think?
I think that it's looking like we're pretty much going to have at least one show every weekend. So some shows may lack a little bit of quality, but over this last 2 years, I'd say, most of the fights that we kind of wanted, we actually, do you think we got them or not?
Yeah, I think so. I think we've done good.
Like Triple G and Canelo,
better than in years past.
Did you think down the lines would we have got Triple G and Canelo? No, you'd have thought, oh no, he's Golden Boy's cash cow.
Yeah.
He's Tom Loeffler's cash cow. We probably won't see it, but we've already had it twice.
Yeah, twice.
So
I think we've had a way better year in terms of matchups. Maybe 2 years. I think we have. But, wrapping up here, if you're out here in Southern California and you need a studio to work with, not just for radio, podcast, music, anything. So even music, if you got a band, anything, come check out One Music Studios in Rancho Cucamonga, California, out here in Southern California, just outside of LA. This is where we do our podcast every week. It's one of the best studios in the area. Come and check it out. And the man in charge is Joel, our audio engineer. He'll take good care of you, give you some good rates. And
shout out to Joel.
Shout out to Joel and make you sound 10 times better than you recording in your garage. So come check out One Music Studios in Rancho Cucamonga, California, and check out some rates, and he'll hook you up for sure. But like I said, we'll be back next week, next Monday, with some more boxing news. What do you got? Last word, Mike?
Just the usual one that I always say. If you listen to us on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, just go on there, give us a 5-star review so we can try and work our way up, get more exposure. And then if you have any questions for next week's show or any guests or anything you'd like to see,
message us, tweet us.
Yeah, if you want to send abuse to me, send abuse to Danny. Tell us how you hate us, how you love us.
Throw it at us.
Send us messages on Twitter or Instagram at The Last Round 12.
And then we'll take it from there. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. This is The Last Round.
Thanks for supporting and listening to the show. Follow us at The Last Round 12 on social media. Rate, review, and subscribe.